Good morning, Vietnam. Good morning, Whittier, California. Good morning, YouTube, wherever you guys are at. This is Staff Sergeant Calhoun coming at you on a Friday morning, and it is the Ides of September. And as we close out, summer's officially over now. We already had Labor Day and all that. Here we are, closing in on October in about a week or so. And what's different? Well, the more things change, the more they stay the same. But one thing that's constant is change, right? So the pandemic is still ongoing globally. However, in the United States, it seems to be more of a larger problem than anywhere else in the world. Is it a worldwide problem? Of course. Worldwide, globally. But wow, when you look at the news, I don't hear about other countries struggling and going through pandemics in Europe or in Australia. I only hear about it in the United States, which completely leads me to believe that it's a politicized thing and there's fear tactics. If you think differently, I don't know how you do, but if you do, I respect it. Since March, April, May, June, July, August, and now the end of September, we have, like I said, we have about a week left, and we're going into October of 2020. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It's going to be a miracle how quickly this gets resolved after the November elections. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican or independent or neither, like me, I don't beholden myself to any party. I am not a Republican or a Democrat. I don't define myself by titles like that. I'm not going to be held accountable or responsible to either party. I can vote for who I want to vote for. Or if I don't want to vote at all, I don't have to. We're free, and I live by the freedom. But I wear this mask for respect for others. But man, I swear to you, you guys probably see it too. The more I move around in the city, the less I see people wearing masks. Now, I'm not complaining about it, because I applaud them for living their life the way they want to live their life. If they don't want to wear a mask, don't wear the mask. I'm not going to hear anything from me. I'm definitely not going to run up and yell at you or shame you or pepper spray you. I'm not going to do that. A lot of people tend to have a sense of a delusion of grandeur, which is a false sense of control, where you think you can control the universe, control people's actions. Perfect strangers, you go up and you tell them off, you shame them, you guilt trip them, you pepper spray them because they're not wearing a mask. But you walked over to them, they're minding their business, and you're going and yelling. There's a lot of that going on. When you look at the news or YouTube and you see all these cities on fire, burning, flipping cars, throwing Molotov cocktails, all that violence, all that anger, all that hatred, it's a stone cold trip. Now, I do believe that this is just me, but that tactic of fear and disruption of society, which is what it is, it's disrupting society and causing disturbances and fear in people and all this animosity and hatred and blah blah blah. I think that tactic will backfire. You can't have a United States when there's so much division, but the ones who are doing the divisions are the ones that are mostly divided. Again, I'm not pointing out any particular party. Let the actions lie where they lie, and you can figure it out for yourself. I'm not going to sit here and blow sunshine or smoke up anybody's particular party. I'm not going to put anybody's particular party down. I will talk about just what the actions that I see on the news and on TV are. One thing for sure, from my perspective, is that the media only reports certain things. So there is an agenda. There is a particular slant. I'm not going to say which side or the other, but the media definitely has some type of a slant and an agenda, basically about the way that they present their news and as you may have seen or may not have seen. A lot of people have seen it. You can see it on YouTube. They read from a script. These are supposed to be journalists telling the truth, and they're just reading from a teleprompter. And if you go nationwide, from state to state, city to city, they're saying the exact same thing. How could it be that if you're in Alaska, and then I'm in California, and then someone else is in New York, somebody else is in Texas, and they're repeating the news in those particular states, in those particular cities, word for word? How is that news in your city if it's the same as the news in my city? Doesn't add up. But again, I'm not pointing out any particular party. I just see that there's a lot of lies. They're lying to us. There's a lot of BS. And voting is important, but it won't save the world. But it is important, and I will vote. I'm going to do my civic duty and vote. I'm not even going to tell you who I'm going to vote for, because I'm not trying to cause any kind of problems. That's my business. Who you vote for is your business. I respect you either way. But I do see a lot of people, if you say you support one candidate, they give you grief. If you say you support a different candidate, they give you grief. I've had friends of mine on Facebook light me up. People have disowned me. And I don't care. I really don't. It's very telling and lets me know who my true friends are. But again, I don't have any animosity towards anybody. I don't care who you vote for. I respect you. I respect you as a person. A human being, man or woman. I have a lot of respect for elderly people, a lot of respect for parents, for firefighters, for police officers who risk their life, military people. I was in the Marines myself, 21 years of service, and I see just a ton of disrespect for people that are in a uniform. If you're wearing a uniform, you're a doctor, a nurse, a police officer, a firefighter, a security officer, or a military person, or even UPS or FedEx, I'm sure they catch hell. Just wearing a uniform nowadays, it's like you're public enemy number one, you're a racist, you're this, you're that. And it's so ridiculous. 12, 13, 14 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, you wouldn't see that. A lot of narratives of brotherhood and love and, let's get America on track, and 10% discount for service members and elderly, you get 10% off for this, and taking care of one another. That stuff is... and it's still there, but the media will let you believe that it's gone. And so they're pumping up this narrative of hatred and ugliness and horribleness. And it's just not that way. It is, but it isn't. It's weird. Like certain cities are more, in turmoil than others. One more thing I saw that I'll talk about real quick is that this was interesting. You have to do your own research. Everybody does. I do my own research. I don't just take anybody's word for it, so I'm not expecting you to take my word for it. But there was something that I saw that was interesting, where they were showing from CDC and just statistics of nationwide infections of people getting reported that they were sick from COVID, or the deaths of people who have perished from COVID. And on that list, when they broke it down, why is it that the Democratic cities and states numbers were far, far, far more inflated than the Republican states? Why is that? Those are the types of things that lead me to believe that we're being lied to, where you have 3 times as many deaths, 3 times as many reported infections in a Democratic city is a Republican. Now, who's lying? Is it the Republicans are lying? The Democrats are lying? Is the CDC lying? Are the state governors lying? Are the state mayors lying? Somebody's lying. Who is it? Somebody's not telling the truth, because the stats don't match. They statistically do not match. And I keep hearing new information about, some of those deaths weren't even COVID deaths. They just said, we'll say they had COVID because they looked like they had symptoms, but they died in a car crash, or, and I feel very sad for anybody who's had to suffer the disease and recover and got sick or died or had a loved one perish. It's terrible, and I respect it. I respect the people's, loss. It's just terrible. This is a terrible, terrible thing. But again, I still think that it's not the same as what they had told us it was going to be in the beginning. The fear is still being pushed. The fear was really big in the beginning, but they're still pushing a fear narrative on the media. Again, this isn't about what party you belong to. I believe in God. I have a faith in Jesus. That's just me. I'm not pushing that on you. If you don't believe that, amen, that's your deal. I served 21 years in the Marines. I'm not afraid of things. Most military people aren't really necessarily petrified of dying. You've put your life on the line for your country. And a lot of servicemen and women have died and been blown apart, come home wounded warriors, psychological warfare, PTSD, which I have. Lots of injuries that I have, not from bullets, but jumping off of trucks and helicopters and you name it, stuff like that. Martial arts injuries. The military puts you through a lot. My back hurts. I got hearing loss, tinnitus, you name it. I got all that stuff. Stress. But I was willing to do it because I wanted to serve my country, and I still serve my country. I'm not in the military anymore, but I still serve my country. And once a Marine, always a Marine. So for the rest of my life, I'm gonna serve my country in one form, factor, or another. Now, not everybody in this generation, these young, youthful people, anybody under the age of 25, I'm talking to you, anybody under the age of 25. A lot of you are being told some things because you have an impressionable mind and you're being filled up with testosterone and anger and hatred. They are pushing a hate narrative on you and you're being manipulated, and I feel bad for you. But if you have strong morals, good parents that teach you how to respect yourself, respect others, you're doing better than most right now, it seems, right? But again, I don't know the whole thing as far as the numbers of however many people are really this upset. I know that there's cities that are on fire. Portland is under siege, Seattle's under siege, Chicago's under siege. New York is going through some craziness as well. Businesses are pulling out. It's just some really crazy stuff. But hey, I gotta go to church because it's a retreat this weekend. So keep the faith. Staff Sergeant Calhoun is sending love your way. Hang in there. You guys are awesome. Don't believe the hype. Staff Sergeant Calhoun out.